Another AEW executive is set to leave the company at the end of the year. This time, the person has strong ties to one AEW executive vice president. Plenty of details on that. Plus, last night on AEW Collision wrapped up the Blue League. We now know who the final participants will be in the final of the Blue League coming up next week on Collision. Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland is set for a no disqualification TNT Championship match at AEW World's End. Thunder Rosa makes her return to in-ring action after over a year of absence. Kachusuri Shibata is officially All Elite, with Tony Khan confirming the news last night prior to Collision. Plus, a TBS title match is set for AEW World's End. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about more shakeups behind the scenes when it comes to executives in All Elite Wrestling, this time with a strong tie to one AEW executive vice president. Now, as we spoke about yesterday evening, an earlier report stated from Fightful Select, this was from Sean Ross Sapp, that the vice president of live events and touring, Raphael Morphy, was finishing up with AEW at the end of the year. Now, Morphy has previous experience with both WWE and TNA wrestling. However, he recently teased new opportunities and is expected to be pursuing other interests in 2024, according to the report. Now, in a subsequent update after the fact, it was then reported that Morphy will be doing work with the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York in the future. That looks to be his next role. However, elsewhere, in an update to the report, it was noted that another notable AEW original and high-ranking executive is now slated to set to be finishing up with AEW at the end of the year. Chief Marketing and Merchandising Officer Dana Massie will also reportedly be ending her time with AEW. This is significant, of course, because she is married to Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and the news comes amid other notable recent backstage departures at All Elite Wrestling, including QT Marshall and Vice President of Post-Production Kevin Sullivan. This now marks three Vice Presidents and one Senior Executive that is departing the company at the end of the year. What do you make of this executive shakeup? What do you make of yet another high-ranking person leaving? Is this bad news for AEW or is this good news? A criticism of AEW has been their live events, certainly booking of arenas and attendances. Another criticism of AEW has been the merchandising, particularly at said live events. Is this an improvement? Can better people get in, or is this a sign that all is not good behind the scenes in AEW? Let me know your thoughts and your predictions about that in the comment section below. Now, last night was the latest episode of AEW Collision on TNT, and we got a lot of updates when it comes to the AEW Continental Classic. AEW was in San Antonio, Texas last night for Collision, and the Continental Classic tournament continued with 3 Blue League matches. The bouts would determine who'd move on to the Blue League tournament final to be held on Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite. Let's get into the first match. The first match on the show was an all-Blackpool Combat Club affair as the BCC members collided. A win or draw would assure Bryan Danielson a spot in the Blue League final and would mean the end of Claudio Castagnoli's hopes to win the tournament. Castagnoli was first to bend the rules with a thumb to the eye. He'd also later attacked Danielson's injured eye. Castagnoli applied a sharpshooter with seconds remaining but was unable to get the victory. Danielson advanced in the tournament as the bout ended in a time limit draw. Next up, we had Daniel Garcia battling against Brody King in the second tournament match of the evening. King needed a win to continue in the tournament, while Garcia was already eliminated. King dominated for most of the bout. However, Garcia made a comeback, kicking out of a lariat and a pile driver. Not soon after that, Garcia rolled up King to gain his first 3 points and end King's chances in the tournament altogether. The House of Black then emerged to help King in attacking Garcia, but FTR came out to make the save. And in the main event, we had a very crucial match that solidified where we were going to be going next week, or on Wednesday, certainly in the Blue League Tournament Finals. In the main event, Eddie Kingston wrestled Andrade El Idolo. Kingston was in a must-win situation, while Andrade only needed a draw. Both men started somewhat tentatively. Late in the bout, Andrade went for his flatliner hammerlock DDT, but it was blocked by Kingston. Not long after, Kingston pinned Andrade following a back fist and his Northern Light suplex. With a win, Kingston Kingston tied Andrade in points. However, of the two, only Kingston advanced in the tournament as a result of his victory in one-on-one competition against Andrade. This now means the tournament finals are set up certainly for the Blue League anyway, because Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson will now wrestle on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. The match will determine who will represent the Blue League in the Continental Classic final at AEW World's End. What were your thoughts on the matches last night? What are your thoughts on the Continental Classic? Where do you think this is going to go in the future? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments section below. Now, speaking of World's End, a big match has been set up between Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. After a surprising loss in their main event showdown in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, on AEW Dynamite, Adam Copeland challenged Christian Cage to a no disqualification match. Last night in the Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas, on AEW Collision, Christian Cage gave his response. However, Cage was more than happy to take his time to finally get to the answer. First, he brought out Nick Wayne's mother, Shayna, to explain why she helped Cage defeat Copeland in their AEW TNT title match in Montreal. Shayna Wayne addressed the crowd and revealed that her reason for helping Cage was because she wanted watch Copeland smash her son with a chair, prompting her to do what any mother in the same position would do and protect him. She added that the only person who cares for her son as much as she does is Cage. From there, Cage took the microphone and called Copeland a despicable person who tried to take away Nick Wayne's dream. He explained that Wayne's mother had spent years working various jobs to give her son a chance at a wrestling career, and that if anyone should understand that situation, it should be Copeland, who was also raised by a single mother. Cage said that while the last bout in Montreal wasn't a good night for Copeland, it was for him as he successfully defended his TNT title and walked out of the arena with the matriarch. He then accepted Copeland's invitation to a match, but said Copeland was no challenge as Cage sits on top of the industry. So that match is set to take place at World's End next weekend. Speaking of Collision last night, it marked the return of Thunder Rosa to in-ring competition after over a year out of action with a back injury. Receiving a big entrance featuring a lowrider driving her to the ramp, Thunder Rosa made her return after being out of action since August 2022. With Abaddon set to face off against Julia Hart at AEW World's End for the TBS Championship, there was a big battle between the upcoming foes in the beginning of the match. Finally, when Thunder Rosa was able to tag in, she ran wild on both Sky Blue and Julia Hart, as the crowd was very excited to see her return. After a Tijuana bomb on Sky Blue, Thunder Rosa picked up the pinfall victory. So Thunder Rosa successfully returning to in-ring competition. Now, this was a big story prior to AEW Collision last night, and that is that Katsuyori Shibata is all elite. An announcement on another signing from New Japan Pro Wrestling came from Tony Khan, this time via social media, ahead of last night's edition of AEW Collision. He confirmed that the former Ring of Honor Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata was indeed all elite. He had the following to say, quote, "It's official, Katsuyori Shibata is all elite. Welcome to AEW for one of the greatest fighters and champions ever in wrestling, legend Katsuyori Shibata. Thank you, New Japan, for making it possible. See you moments from now on AEW Collision, next on TNT after this huge news." Now, we also got a statement from Shibata himself saying, quote, "Dear Tony Khan, today I have signed the contract with AEW under permission from New Japan Pro Wrestling. In the past year, I worked for AEW/Ring of Honor, and I learned how wonderful the AEW is. This is the best environment where wrestlers can focus only on fighting in the ring, and the love for professional wrestling is overflowing from Tony and all the people who work for him. I want to make AEW's ring the last endpoint of the wrestler's career. I dedicate my wrestler life to Tony Khan and AEW. Thank you, Katsuyori Shibata." Of course, it had been reported recently that Shibata, after dropping the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, would be heading back to Japan, but now it looks like he's heading to AEW full-time and permanently. What do you make of this big signing for All Elite Wrestling? Finally, we spoke about it earlier, but the TBS Championship match has been confirmed for AEW World's End next weekend. AEW CEO Tony Khan announced on X, previously known as Twitter, before Saturday night's AEW Collision that TBS champion Julia Hart will be defending her title against Abaddon at the World's End pay-per-view on December 30. During last night's episode of Collision, Hart teamed with Sky Blue to face Abaddon and a returning Thunder Rosa. The match ended, as I mentioned, with Rosa picking up the victory. Last week on Collision, Rosa came to Abaddon's aid after they were attacked by Hart and Blue. Since Abaddon returned to AEW TV in October after a hiatus, the House of Black member has been taunting her upcoming challenger. Hart's last TBS title defense was on the November 29 edition of AEW Dynamite, where she faced Emi Sakura. She has been the TBS champion since winning the title at AEW Full Gear after defeating then-champion Chris Statlander and the aforementioned Sky Blue. Hart also holds the record for being the youngest All Elite Wrestling star Shibata at 22 years old to hold a title in the company. Other matches set for World End include the finals of the AEW Continental Classic, MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. Christian Cage will face off against Adam Copeland in a no disqualification match for Cage's TNT title, while Hook will defend the FTW title against Wheeler Yuta. Timeless Tony Storm will be defending the AEW Women's World title against Riho as well. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.